What you're about to hear was never meant to reach the public. Over decades of military development, advanced weapons, armored vehicles, and tactical gear have been celebrated as the pinnacle of human engineering. But in the shadows, away from the glossy recruitment ads and triumphant parades, there's a darker reality, one the military hopes you'll never know about. From prototype weapons jamming during live fire to armored vehicles collapsing under their own weight and protective gear failing when it's needed most. These are the stories hidden in classified documents, sealed behind steel doors and stamped in bold red letters. Top secret. Today, those secrets aren't safe anymore. The rifle that wouldn't fire. It was 2009 in Afghanistan. An elite unit was pinned down by enemy fire in the mountains of Kunar province. Their rifles were supposed to be the latest in precision engineering, the XM8, a weapon touted as virtually jam-proof. But in the heat of the firefight, soldiers began to notice what the manuals hadn't prepared them for. Rounds jammed mid-chamber, ejection ports froze shut, triggers were pulled only to meet dead silence. The cause? A microscopic flaw in the bolt carrier group, invisible to inspection, but deadly under the heat and dust of combat. A classified report revealed that 40% of the rifles jammed at least once during the engagement. A single second of delay meant the difference between life and death. A whistleblower later leaked images of these rifles burned and torn apart on workbenches. They showed heavy carbon buildup, cracked pistons, and scored metal, all within weeks of deployment. The XM8 project was quietly terminated. Officially, it was for budgetary reasons. Unofficially, reliability was a nightmare. The $20 million drone that couldn't fly straight. In 2015, the Pentagon unveiled a next-generation spy drone known internally as Project Falcon Eye. Its promise was simple: an autonomous aircraft that could navigate complex terrain using artificial intelligence. But during one test flight, the drone veered off course mid-air, circling a communications tower before slamming into it head-on. Engineers blamed a sensor fusion error, meaning its GPS, gyroscope, and vision systems disagreed on its location. On another test, the drone mistook a building's glass facade for open air, plowing straight into the structure and destroying over $1 million in optics. Internal memos warned of catastrophic navigation failures in complex urban electromagnetic environments. That's military speak for, it loses its mind around skyscrapers. Despite these breakdowns, the program continued for 2 more years, until one incident overseas allegedly made the drone collide with a civilian satellite. That event remains classified to this day. When the armor gives way, every soldier trusts their armor. It's the thin line between walking off and being carried off. But in 2018, a quality control report from a major defense contractor revealed a terrifying flaw. A batch of ceramic armor plates shipped to the military contained microfractures invisible to the naked eye. These plates passed ballistic testing, but in real combat, when they were dropped, knocked, or left in hot vehicles, those fractures expanded. In one training exercise, a soldier's plate shattered from a single rifle shot. Leaked lab footage showed plates disintegrating under half the expected force. Emails between the contractor and the military showed panic. Replacing the plates would cost millions, and admitting the flaw would spark public outrage. The official statement claimed the military was upgrading to a new, lighter system. In truth, the flawed plates were quietly destroyed after years of active use. The Submarine with a secret leak. In 1994, during maintenance at a naval base, engineers discovered hairline cracks in the ballast tanks of a classified attack submarine. These tanks control a submarine's ability to surface and dive. At first, officials dismissed it as normal wear and tear, but metallurgical analysis revealed something worse. A flaw in the steel casting process dating back to construction. Under the crushing pressure of the deep ocean, the cracks could spread, causing catastrophic flooding. The chilling part? That submarine had already completed multiple patrols carrying live nuclear warheads. One officer later said, "We were one dive away from being the next Thresher." The submarine was immediately taken out of service, officially for scheduled upgrades. Unofficially, it was too expensive and too dangerous to fix. Two other subs of the same class reportedly had identical weaknesses, still classified to this day. Hostile night vision malfunction. Night vision goggles are the eyes of special forces in the dark. But during a 2012 operation in the Horn of Africa, an entire squad's night vision units failed in the middle of an enemy compound. The incident report blamed condensation forming inside the sealed battery compartments, short-circuiting the electronics. Soldiers cursed as the green glow faded and the world went black while gunfire echoed in the distance. They were forced to use handheld flashlights, breaking stealth and barely escaping alive. Further analysis revealed it wasn't an isolated case. At least 3 other squads had reported identical failures during coastal and jungle missions. The fix was simple: new circuitry and desiccant packets. The lesson was harsh. No matter how advanced the technology, Mother Nature always gets a vote. The software bug that let a missile through. During the Gulf War in 1991, the Patriot missile defense system was America's pride, a shield that could track, lock, and destroy incoming threats. But one night in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, a software bug changed that. A Scud missile slipped through and struck a barracks, killing 28 American soldiers. After over 100 hours of continuous use, the Patriot's internal clock had drifted by just fractions of a second. But at supersonic speeds, that tiny error meant hundreds of meters off target. The radar looked the wrong way, and the Scud flew right through. A software patch was released. One day too late. Investigators found no sabotage, only a rounding error in a chain of 24-bit calculations. A reminder that in modern warfare, bad code can be as deadly as shrapnel. Friend or foe, the Patriot shoots down an RAF Tornado. 12 years later, another Patriot missile made another fatal mistake. During the invasion of Iraq in 2003, a British Tornado returning from a mission was mistakenly identified as a threat. Its transponder was working, broadcasting friendly signals, but the Patriot system locked on and fired anyway. Both crew members were killed instantly. Investigations found that the system had done exactly what it was programmed to do. The sensors, the software, the human operators all followed procedure. And yet, the result was tragedy. When machines act faster than humans can react, trust becomes fatal. Humvees from the sky. In 2016, over a training range in Germany, 3 U.S. Army Humvees were dropped from a C-130 during an airdrop exercise. Their parachutes failed to open. The vehicles fell thousands of feet and smashed into the ground. The footage went viral. 2 years later, a soldier was convicted of intentionally cutting the straps. The Army made one thing clear: sabotage isn't a joke. Rigging is a system of systems, and one bad link in the chain turns gravity into an enemy. The lesson was brutal and simple. Procedures are hardware. Ignore them, and the hardware obeys physics. Top-heavy survivors, the MRAP rollover problem. The MRAP, mine-resistant, ambush-protected, truck was built to save lives from roadside bombs. Its tall V-shaped hull deflected blasts upward and outward. But that same design made it dangerously unstable. On Afghanistan's narrow, uneven roads, MRAPs tipped, flipped, and rolled over. Crews drowned in canals or were crushed by their own vehicles. Reports found that rollovers accounted for a massive percentage of fatal vehicle accidents. Commanders tried to adapt with stricter training and slower speeds, but physics doesn't negotiate. The irony was brutal. The vehicle designed to survive explosions became a killer in its own right. When the road turns first, the West Point rollover. In 2019, a training exercise near West Point turned tragic. A transport truck carrying cadets overturned on a wet, narrow road. One cadet, Christopher J. Morgan, was killed. 19 others were injured. Investigations pointed to terrain, speed, and poor conditions. One soldier was found guilty of negligent homicide. But beneath the headlines was a pattern. Too many rollovers in training, too many preventable deaths. Seatbelts, simulators, and safety checks all exist, but they require time, discipline, and funding. And when those fail, soldiers pay the price. Conclusion. When you dig into the hidden history of military malfunctions, you realize the truth runs deep. What we see in public is only the surface of a massive submerged iceberg. From failed drones to broken rifles, each layer hides secrets that few will ever uncover. Some are cautionary tales, others are warnings ignored, and a few are still unfolding right now. The real question isn't whether you believe these stories, it's whether you're ready to keep looking deeper, knowing you might not like what you find, because the deeper you go, the colder it gets.